Hi everyone, it's Annabel here from IMPRONAT. Welcome to our podcast where we explore current events and their impacts on our communities. Today we're discussing the recent pro-Palestinian demonstrations in Sydney. And joining us is Adam, who is a young person involved with the pro-Palestinian demonstrations in Sydney. So hi Adam.
Hi Annabel, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming in. So let's dive right in. Adam, can you tell us why there have been pro-Palestinian demonstrations in Sydney recently?
Absolutely. So the pro-Palestinian demonstrations in Sydney are motivated by the recent escalation of conflict on the Gaza Strip and the ongoing Israel-Hamas conflict. These protests have been organized in response to the increased violence and the Israel military actions in Gaza, which have led to a significant amount of casualties and severe humanitarian crisis.
So what are the main goals of these demonstrators?
The demonstrators are expressing solidarity with the Palestinians, making sure that they're heard, and they're calling for an end to all this violence.
Yeah.
They're urging international support for the Palestinian rights and intervention so that these civilians that are affected by this conflict can finally deserve the justice that they deserve.
Yeah. Now, how have these protests been received by the public and authorities?
The protests have been they have a significant turnout, and there's a lot of strong agreement from the public.
Yeah.
However, you also, with any protest, there's always the backlash from law enforcement and other parties concerning public safety. For example, the Sydney Opera House.
Yeah.
When there was a lot of anti-Semitic behavior by some of the attendants of the protest, the organizers, they condemned that, and they didn't want that to happen, but it did.
Yeah. Now, have the organisers made any changes to their strategies in response to these challenges, such as the ones at the Opera House?
Definitely. Okay. So we used to have marches going through the city and stuff like that. They've shifted from marches to static rallies.
Yep.
Just to reduce the risk of violence and just to show that we're conveying a peaceful message here and that all we want is to voice for the support for Palestinian human rights.
Yeah. So what does this tell us about the broader community's stance on the Israel-Palestine conflict?
These demonstrations reflect the strong emotions and divided opinions within the community regarding the conflict. While the protesters try to advocate for the Palestinian human rights, the events also highlight the increasing tensions among both parties and the complexities of the issue. It's a clear indicator of the passionate response that the international conflicts invoke within the local communities.
Well, thank you, Adam, for your insights on the sensitive and critical issue. It's essential to understand the motivations behind these demonstrations and the challenges that they face.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure discussing a very important topic that everyone should know about.
Well, that wraps up today's episode. Stay tuned for more discussions on current events and their impact on our world. Thanks so much for listening.